on the first planting day, why, we did it on a Saturday morning. We had contracted for, well, first off, what we did, we sold license plates. Marilyn designed a license plate. They cost $1 a piece to buy, and we sold them for $5. And I had everything all arranged out. We set up shop in City Hall, and we had all the service clubs in town take the kids, and I had it all laid out because I was an old milkman. I knew every refrigerator in the county, and so we sold $3,500 worth of plates one night.
In one night?
Yeah, in one night.
That's great.
And so anyway, that first year, why, we took one of our old Ford trucks and we got water tanks from the Kiwanis Club that they'd used to make maple syrup, and Marilyn rode out on the back, and it was terrible. I'd go real slow, and then the water would go this way or go this way, and you just get sloshed.
Oh, jeez.
And
you don't think about things like that.
Yeah.
This ought to work. This idea ought to work.
well, anyhow, to make a long story short, I have watered the flowers for 26 years straight and never missed a day in 26 years. It takes about 15,000 gallon every morning, about 6 tank wagons full to water the flowers. And you see, people came and give me a rough time all the time. They said, it won't work, it won't work, it can't work, it can't work. Well, I always tell parents, don't ever tell a teenager they can't do something, because they'll prove the old man and the old lady wrong every time.
Yeah.
And so here I am. They're proving me wrong, and they're not going to prove me wrong. Well, sometimes I wondered whether we were going to make it or not, but anyway, it's been a blooming success.
Yes, yes.
And it's been a lot of fun.
The first time we watered, or we dug up the ditches,
Yeah.
and we had to have fertilizer in it. They wouldn't let us use the human manure, which was all dry and fine. You could use it, you know, Milorganite. And so Dale went out to Whelan's farm and got some tanks of liquid manure. Oh, does that smell?
Yes, it does.
So anyway, when we first started digging the ditches to have everything ready to fertilize, when one of the councilmen came out and he stood right there on the street and just yelled at Dale, you can't do this, you're ruining the town, right down where we go up Bridge Street Hill where they were digging. Anyway, Dale went on with it, and so he got the manure, and he was spreading the manure when the police pulled up. You tell there from there.
Yeah, well, anyway, we're putting manure in the ditches.
He had it up here, and he had it all over.
I had it
here, just flying all over.
And I had hip boots on, and it was just
Big
spattering
truck.
all over. And it ran down the hill by 7-Eleven, ran onto the concrete, and the kids were coming with their cars, and they were sliding sideways in that manure and going into 7-Eleven with it on their feet. Well, anyway, I went home to supper, and here comes the county sheriff. He said, Dale, he said, I got a warrant for your arrest. He said, I got to arrest you and put you in jail. I said, hold her just a minute. I said, I got one telephone call, haven't I? So I called Bruce MacArthur. I said, Bruce, get a hold of our lawyer. I said, they're going to put me in jail. They literally were. So anyway, the attorney, he got on the telephone with the sheriff, and he talked him out of it. And so anyway, that's one of the, we rototilled it all in, and like I say, we had,
Then you get different manure the next time, right?
we
Yeah.
didn't use that
Yeah,
manure
we didn't
after
use it.
that. They really gave us a rough time.
Now this is a picture of our truck now.
Our current truck.
Yeah, I got one day, and we had gone from 1982 to 1987, and I come home and I said, this is enough of this, driving this old junk. And the door was off on the right-hand side. I said, we're going to have a new truck. So I went over to Bruce. I said, we're going to buy a new truck. Well, how are we going to do that? He says, we haven't got any money. I said, we're going to go get a Mustang convertible, and we're going to raffle it off. And so we did. And I had, there again, I went to Mr. Wellman down to the bank, and I said, how would you like to buy a tank on a brand new truck? And it says, this water tank donated, boy, he said. I said, well, I got to have about $8,000. He brought it up to the board of directors, and they said, absolutely, yes. And so I had the truck crafted, and then I said, we're going to advertise this place. So I took the truck, and I had a great big float, and I went to parades all over the state of Michigan.
That's a picture of the one float we had, and we always repaired it and did it, everything like that for nothing. And then we also made a red float, which was pretty fancy. We'd take this down to Detroit.
That's neat.
To be in the parade. Now this is a Thanksgiving parade. In the first years, I went as an old grandma, and then we had our little grandson and Mr. Weineman. He is gone now, but he always paid to get us in that parade, and we never knew how much, but it was very expensive.
And did you get then just as advertising and you?
That's correct.
For
Yep, yep,
Charlevoix?
Right.
yep, yep. Well, it got to the point where they wanted $25,000 to put it in, and that was just out of the question. And so, but
Parades, yeah.
yeah, the parade. But that was
So do you remember how many years you've taken the Queens down there?
we
I mean,
we
two
went
parades. We
we
go to
went
parades all over.
we went to the Detroit Thanksgiving Day parade for about 6 years, I believe. We go from here to Frankenmuth and stay overnight, and then leave at 4 o'clock, and we'd get down in front of on Woodward. And what I always did, I always had about $50 in $1 bills in my pocket. So we'd get down in front of the Detroit Institute of Arts at 6 o'clock and start setting up. These guys would start coming by. You wouldn't have money for a cup of coffee, would you? I think
was
for a
in a
nice fellow like you, and I take the
scary
dollar out
part
and
of
give it to
Detroit.
him.
But
Pretty
it was
soon,
fun.
another guy come, and the kids that I had with me, he said, they'd say to me, Dale, what are you doing? I said, I'm just paying my insurance, that's all.
But I think we loved the Detroit parade more than anything else, because here are all these darling little black kids out along the streets dressed in snowsuits and cute little faces, and they just loved. That's when I went as Mrs. Claus.
Wow, okay.
And we had all the elves on there. It was really fun to be in parades.
Yeah.
Well, and do you have anything more to say about Operation Petunia?
Well, I have a couple pictures here.
Okay.
Well, I wanted to know how long it take to water it at the beginning, and how long does it take now?
Well,
That's
it takes, it's never changed. It takes about 3 hours and 15 minutes of actual time.
because we have to go a certain speed.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have to
There's
go
another one.
slow, so we...
This is when gas was $1.96.
Oh, geez, it's still up there.
Yeah,
We thought that was high, didn't we?
yeah,
Right.
now it's
And
$3.
this was a picture of Dale standing by the truck.
So it's always taken 3 hours and 15 minutes.
Yeah, it
Pretty
takes...
much.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
It takes, you know, we've all got different talents, and it takes somebody that has a certain talent. I don't know what word I can use to do something like this. You got to drive from the right front seat. You got to be very careful that you don't go over the curb, because you could bust a wheel or blow out a tire. Or
And when you're pulling the float, you are the longest that they allow in Michigan.
Yeah.
Altogether in a unit.
yeah,
that's
there
pretty
again, instead
tricky,
of horsing
too.
around and doing something small, why our float, our truck and our float is 65 feet long. And of course we have 2 bubble machines, we have music, balloons,
It looks good.
and
And
oh
people
hey,
really like it.
oh they really like it. We
So how many parades do you do now?
Well, now I do about 9.
Yeah, we used
The
to do
biggest
more.
one is Frankenmuth, and that's on a Sunday afternoon. And that is big. And some of the other ones, because gasoline is $3 plus a gallon, and because the guy's getting old that does it, why I've cut back to.
Then on Petunia Planning Day, the people are so good about coming out. There's so many of them. And our son Bo and Jim, and sometimes our son-in-law, get their pickup trucks out and they deliver all those flowers at certain intersection. He marks the curb.
There's 1,250 flats of flowers.
Wow.
And so everything is,
Dawson Way and his family always helped a lot, and Jim Hiller always liked to ride around when he was alive. He was the mayor then.
So how many people help? I mean, during the history of it?
well, we usually get in the street to plant flowers between 800 and 1,000 people.
They
Yeah.
plant it in 1 hour,
Plant it in 1 hour.
then they have their picnic afterwards.
I get the thing all rototilled ahead of time and get it watered down a couple of times ahead of time. And there's a regular procedure that we go.
Everybody has their job and they all do it beautifully and it all works out.
Yep.
Yeah, it's quite a bit of
Good
work.
system.
And the thing,
Right.
one of the things I guess that I'm the happiest about, we never have to beg for money.
Yes.
People are very, very good, and we have a mailing list and send it out, and
They send the money in?
They send the
every
money
year.
in,
It's just
and,
wonderful.
so
We
it's-
used to have a fundraiser, and that was fun too. We had an auction down the park, and all the townspeople came because everything was priced enough so that everybody could buy something they wanted. That was a lot of fun, but then they changed it, and so we
yeah,
went ahead and,
With your mailing list instead.
yep, we have a mailing list.
yeah, we got good workers.
What do you think it's done for the town?
Brought them together a lot.
Yeah,
That's what everybody says anyway.
that's what everybody said.
Because they like being able to say that they had part in planting the petunias. We've had some years when they've been very bad. We got them from bad growers. Couldn't do a thing about it, and then we couldn't get weeders and so on. Now we've got a wonderful grower. He's way cheaper than the other ones. He's a man down in Traverse City at a big place, and he sells it to us wholesale, so it's way less money. And the plants are absolutely beautiful. And we have the band parents who go out now and weed it.
The city
And
pays the
we've got a
band
good-
parents.
Good thing here.
They spend about $15,000 or $16,000 a year.
Now Dale doesn't get a penny. We
No, I've never
gotten
got
any
a
money.
dime.
But
I
we do
don't-
feel we have to pay weeders. That's one of the most important things.
Yeah,
You've got to
weeders
get
are
them out.
essential,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yep.
Yeah.
yeah.
How they do that every day? Oh.
No, usually
They
right
weed-
now we want them to weed at least 3 days in a row, get rid of everything.
And they
that's
do
what
it,
they're doing.
they do it approximately every 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Every 3 weeks approximately. And
So it's,
we also, at Christmas time, why,
oh,
we take our house
we
and,
just add to this all the time, but I think this last year is going to be our last year.
Oh, really?
We're just, it's so much. This goes way out here and way out here with
Yeah.
elves and all kinds of things. And I make all the little figures and I make Big Bird. This year he wasn't on there. He is now. But he
No.
fell and broke all in pieces.
Oh. Well, I can tell you from my own experience that your house is part of our family tradition.
And that's what makes us
My-
feel so bad that we can't do it
Yeah.
anymore.
Yeah.
yeah,
Well,
age is
it's-
catching.
Yep, it
Yeah.
sure is.
I
So
can
when did you
understand.
start doing it?
About 22 or 3 years ago.
So right after Petunias?
Yeah, right
Yeah,
about the same time.
About the
Mhm.
same,
Yeah.
time, yes, yes.
And I had one other little picture here. This was taken here at the library. They had some kind of a thing for books, and it was in the Charlevoix Courier, and our children that went down there that day are there. Bo, and then Diane, the teacher, and Jim, he's the mailman.
That's neat. What year was that picture taken?
This was 1962.
Well, have you done anything else with your artwork, Marilyn?
Oh, I usually paint a chair for the chair-a-thon.
Okay.
And then I do this, and I want to start now doing some regular painting on, for pictures. I
Okay.
want to do that. I just don't get around to it yet, but I make jewelry and do things like that.
We have one last question that we'd like to ask, and that's, what is your philosophy on life?
Oh,
What's kind of kept you going?
well, we are both Christians. I went to the Sunday school all by myself down over the hill to the Baptist church when I was 3 with a little boy that lived next door. And we've always gone to church. And so we believe that way, we want to make people happy. We want to do the very best we can do and try to be as good a people as you can.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
Dale too was born.
the Reformed Church on the north side, I bought all the land for that. I was chairman of the building committee, and I was just a kid, 30 years old. I bought 37 lots from 17 different people. Likewise, the school on the north side, I did all the buying of that land. I was on the school board for the school. The Historical Society I got for nothing for the city, just because I knew the right lady. I have spent a lifetime trying to make this the happiest place in the world to live, the most beautiful that I knew how to do it. And like I say, I try to live, notice I said try. I try to live a very devout Christian life. The Lord has been good to me. The people in Charlevoix have been so wonderful, and I've tried to I just love people. I love the town, and I just try to give back 10 times of what I received. I try to give back, and it's I continually working behind the scenes to make stuff nice. Not how cheap, how good. How good can we make her?
Right.
And
Well, that also sounds to me like a couple of things you've said twice. Think big, not small.
that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Think big, not small.
Well, thank you so much.
Well,
We've enjoyed it very much for being here with us. It's been wonderful.
And for everything you've done.
And for
Yeah.
everything you've done. It brings tears to my eyes, too. Yeah.